We are built for this network, for the strong, not the weak. I was going to take a good jump.
No escaping this. 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 No one's ready to deal with us. No escaping this. No escaping this. No escape. No one's ready to deal with us. No escaping this. No escaping this. No escape. No one's ready to deal with us. No escaping this. No escaping this. No escape. No one's ready to deal with us.
You are listening to the end of the Bench podcast on Worthless Network, hosted by my man, HRap.
Good evening, and before I get the show started, I want to promote a show that I'm a part of. It is a wonderful show. It is called The Forecast. The Forecast will be having a wonderful show come Monday 9 p.m. Monday 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is what we will be covering. I'll be back shortly to continue the show.
Are you ready, black people? Are you really ready? Are you ready to listen to all the beautiful black voices, the beautiful black feeling, the beautiful black waves moving in beautiful air? Are you ready, black people? Are you ready? Nobody ever heard of the Harlem Culture Festival. Nobody would believe it happened. Major artists. The past is what a city could be. Kids were sitting up on the trees. I'm nervous. I didn't expect a crowd like that. Something very important was happening. It wasn't just about the music. 1969 was a change of Europe in the black community. The styles were changing. It was changing. And revolution was coming together. We are a new people. We are a beautiful people. That concert took my life from black and white into color. We wanted progress. We are black people and we should be proud of this. We were coming together to say this is our world and how beautiful it was. We're going to try to sing a song together. Don't wait for a favor, but your neighbor might be waiting for you. We'll make it higher. We believed in what we felt in here. So when we went out, let's go. So do it.
Good afternoon again. This is your man HRap coming at you live and direct. This is Built for This Network's own The End of the Bench. We are live broadcasting live on Spreaker.com as well as here on YouTube. If you're here with me on YouTube, first thing I need you to do first and foremost, I need you to hit that like button. Like. And then I need you to hit the share button. Then I need you to hit the subscribe button. And I need you to hit another button. And this and that. I need you to do a whole lot. It's going to be a lot to tune in, but thank you for tuning in. It's been great. As you know, I start off each and every one of my shows by acknowledging my family and my ancestors. Without them, there is no me. I want to salute everybody connected to the Whitmore excuse me. My grandfather's rolling over his grave. Whitmore Pollard, Pollard. Richard is the chief. He's the captain of that ship. Richard Pollard, the Turner, Battle, Cotton, Harper, Bailey, Shaw, Thompson, Chris, Lansdowne, Liggins, Duncan, and everybody knows me, my mother, my father, my brothers, sisters, nieces, and nephews, Williams Clan. We are always in the building. If this is your first time listening, this is a podcast. What does that mean? That means you can listen to this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can listen now. You can stop. You can come back later. You can share it, tell a friend and tune in. I need you to do that, please, and thank you. Now, as I stated, man, this is a podcast. That means you can get it on Spreaker.com. You go to Spreaker.com and go to look up Built for This Network. BUILTFORTHISNETWORK. Built for This Network. Thank you for tuning in. Now, you can go to Built for This Network. You can go to YouTube, Built for This Network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, as well as Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime. Yes, we're stepping our game up. I want to let you know that you have made this possible by tuning in, by hitting the like buttons, by sharing. I want to thank everybody in America, the Western Hemisphere, everybody in Europe, everybody in Africa, everybody in Asia, and the land down under, because you guys allowed me to grow to the position that we are. Built for This Network is growing on a daily basis, and without you, there is no us. Thank you. Now, what I want to do is, as you know, the name of the show speaks for itself. It is called Build and Destroy. The end of the bench, build and destroy, where we attempt to build up the community and destroy the myths, lies, propaganda, and everything that's negative around the black community in America today. That's what my goal is. Now, with that being said, one of the hot button topics, basically, in my personal opinion, and there's no documentation, I can't go find this dude and he'll say this and he'll back me up, but what I have been watching via the news cycles, which are bogus, to be perfectly honest, as well as other things that are being thrown in our face on a regular basis. One of the things that's being bantied about is critical race theory. If you're watching my show, you need to know what critical race theory is. What I'm going to do is give you a small snippet to let you see what critical race theory is. Once you find out what critical race theory is, then we can come back and have a conversation about why this is so important. With that being said, here you go.
Let's just start with a basic definitional question. When you hear critical race theory over and over again, what should people understand? How do you define CRT?
So I first want to just make a distinction between CRT, which is a theoretical framework that I learned in graduate school, or read about in graduate school, versus teaching about race and racism in American history critically. So critical race theory is a framework. It's a theoretical framework that was developed in the 1980s by legal scholars to help us understand how it is that structural and racial disparities endure in our society, and how that is actually engendered in some of our laws and policies. And so the idea was to get us to think systemically, as opposed to just thinking that racism manifests by individuals just mistreating each other. That there are actual structures in our society that create these different kinds of racial gaps and racial disparities economically, in terms of housing, in terms of education. And so that's what they do, is that they actually show us how the law, how laws that are supposed to be neutral actually can promulgate or support racial disparities. That's a theoretical framework. I think what we're talking about today, though, is some contestation and conflict over how you teach about race, racial hierarchies, critically, racism in schools and society. And so the two are being conflated.
And so when you hear people talking repeatedly about critical race theory, what is your thought?
When I hear people talking about critical race theory, I see that as a straw man for many communities, politicians particularly, trying to shape the knowledge base and what we teach students. I think that there is some fear about raising consciousness about structural inequality, about structural racism, because it does implicate many of our practices in our society. It implicates it indicates what we would have to do differently in government. And some of that is ideological in terms of there's a lot of resistance to how we do things to be fairer and more just in our society. So, there are a number of, I read a really good article just yesterday in the New Yorker about the origins of this conflict and who's behind it. And it's a concerted effort by many on the right to mitigate the extent to which we really augment and increase the understanding of racism in our society.
I'm back. Thank you for tuning in. This is the End of the Bench podcast. This is built for this network. I am on YouTube as well as a simulcast. That means it's on YouTube and it's on Built for This network on Spreaker.com. I'm here to talk to you about what we just saw. Critical race theory. Critical race theory. It is not a theoretical situation. When this was brought to the mainstream public, it was presented from an academic standpoint. It's much like the theory of relativity. Because when you're dealing with something in academics, it's only a theory. Whether it's 100% right or 100% bogus, it is a theory. But it is based in fact and information. We are not talking about a theory. What critical race theory is, let's do away with it. As you heard, you have people on the right, left, up, down. They're all in the same gang, if you ask me. Personally, I think all politicians are in lockstep with each other. Their goal is to continue to get the working class to fight and stay in a chaotic state, mentally doing backflips because they like us, they don't, they're with us, they won't, and this whole concept of Democrat versus Republican is a joke. So when you have people on the bottom, my community specifically, because I can only speak about my community, I'm not dismissing anybody else's pain, but I can only talk about the pain that me and my folks experience. So when you're talking about my community, we're looking at a situation to whereas people have been discriminated against us since the Emancipation Proclamation and even before that. The reason they discriminate, only God knows that. You have an issue within yourself, therefore you manifest hate, and when you manifest hate, you create laws and boundaries and specific instances in which other people cannot excel. And when you do that, you find yourself in the worst possible situation and everybody suffers because of it. Now, critical race theory is to identify what me and my people already identify to the world and show to the world what me and most people in my community already identified as discrimination, racism, bigotry, and things of that nature. And it's not just some man walking up to you, pointing to you, saying, hey, you black, I don't like you. It is systems set in place, redlining, inability to obtain a loan or in a specific area because we will not insure you. The fact that you had to have something like, affirmative action, which most of the people who take advantage of affirmative action are middle-class white women because somehow, some way they got put into the minority category. How is it that you're part of a dominant society and you're a minority? Which, that's a whole other situation. But what we're going to do today is debunk this nonsense about critical race theory being a problem. First and foremost, the people who are so up against and up in arms about critical race theory, they're saying this should be taught in elementary schools and high school. First and foremost, my brothers and sisters, this was never taught in the high schools. This is a graduate level education. So if you're not getting a master's degree at a university, you won't even come across this. But when you are stoked in discrimination, when you are stoked in bias, when you are stoked in a lie, your entire existence is based upon a lie. You create a falsehood and you rile up a set of people. When you rile up that set of people, this is what happens. You're able to say anything. We live in quite possibly the laziest time in the history of the United States of America, whereas you have people who don't even want to do basic research. How is it that Fox News is your primary source of news and information, and they've been sued, and they went to court and legally said, oh, no, we're just entertainment. We just use news for this as a moniker. And then you got people that'll go, hey, I got this off Fox News. People, if they've said they're not telling the truth, why pay attention to them? This is why you can't pay attention to the people on the television in regards to just about anything, especially something as simplified yet complex as critical race theory. Because when you're looking at how my community has been treated since 1619, you should have a problem with anybody and anything that says we can't teach this. Because what it does is open the door for my community to be treated as human beings. I'm going to say that again. Opens the door so my community can be treated like human beings. And if you have a problem with that, what's your problem? This is not a problem with me. It's a problem with you. You have set out to discriminate against me. We didn't create the Ku Klux Klan. We didn't create any hate groups. We haven't created anything, but other people in other parts of our society have done this. And then they say, hey, we don't want to teach about hate because it's going to make students get mad at other students. It's going to cause an issue in the classroom. Why would it? See, look, we are all up under this one contract. It's called the Constitution of the United States of America. And what's one of the tenets of that contract? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I'm going to say it again. Say it slowly. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, if you create laws that prohibit me from obtaining or having the same liberties of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the contract doesn't say, and you will be happy for all your live long days. It says the pursuit of happiness. Guess what happiness is in some cases? Owning and purchasing and making payments on a home. Creating your own business. There have been laws that have been set up in the United States of America that will not allow people that are coming from my community to do that. And how is that possibly fair? How do you have an issue with that? I recently had a conversation with an affluent guy. Because I'm an open-minded person just to about any conversation, he assumed that I would go along with his foolishness with this critical race theory stuff. He started telling me about Antifa, and they don't care about you. And I said, neither do you. And he sat back. He's like, yeah, man, stop telling me about how somebody else don't care about me, and you don't either. You don't either. So don't dress anybody up in this clown suit about, hey, they don't care about you. You and the people who you support don't care about me either. So please, how about this? Until you get to the point where mentally, physically, and spiritually, you can take care. How about this? I live in one of the coldest climate. I have one of the coldest climates in the wintertime in the United States of America, if not on the planet Earth. How is it that I have people living outside, but you care about humanity? You care about humanity, but I got people living outside in my city. I can drive. Next time in the daytime, I'm riding around. I'm going to turn on my Instagram live at HRap_B. So y'all can see how people don't give a damn about people in these United States of America. What is that? Okay. So when people stand up and want to point out Black Lives Matter don't care about you, Antifa doesn't care about you, do you? Do you care about me? No, you don't. So I'm not anti-Trump. I'm anti all y'all. I'm anti anybody that's anti-humanity. How about that? If you're not pro-humanity, don't talk to me. Don't tell me about how something is right in your preview. And see, these people don't care about you as if you do, because you don't. You don't. And you know you don't. So when you stand around and make that foolish assessment about, hey man, Antifa doesn't care about you, HRap, you don't either, my man. You don't either. And please, James Brown, please don't insult my intelligence by telling me this, because anytime you and your cohorts can sit around and create laws that says you can't teach anything that may hurt a student's feelings, so you have officially lost me as a listener. I don't want to hear that, because guess what? If I can't teach anything that may hurt someone's feelings, sometimes the truth hurts. The truth is like this rain that's about to come down in Chicago. It's going to come, and don't care who it gets wet, but it's going to come. So don't worry about where it's coming from, what it's doing. It's coming, and it's going to fall on your head. Now, are you prepared? Are you prepared to be soaked? Or are you prepared to create some type of mythical tent so we can all go up under this, so we can all have the same opportunities? Because that's what critical race theory teaches. It teaches people that when you are like me, when you look like this in these United States of America, you have to do extra to get jobs. You have to do extra to get a home. You have to do extra to open businesses. You're followed around stores and things of that nature. See, racism is just, I hate you because you're black, fly my Confederate flag and wear my hood, and then we're going to burn a cross. Racism is systemic. It doesn't work if some hillbilly in the backwoods with no teeth in his mouth just says he hates me and my people. It has to go into City Hall. It has to go into the state capitol. It has to go into the United States Capitol. And then it becomes the reality of the situation. Redlining. It's one of the greatest tools, because this is something that you need to know about. At one point in the early 1800s, there were laws created by the president that said, we will not allow black people to purchase property outside of this. The New Deal is what put a lot of white people on their feet. We were not registered. We call it the GI Bill. We were not the GI Bill and the New Deal. This allowed white folks to step up, get grants, become landowners, become farmers, and things of that nature. And it excluded people who worked as in indentured servitude, meaning people in the fields and people who are maids and butlers and people who clean homes. So if you exclude me from the ability to purchase a home, you exclude me from the opportunity of generational wealth, because I can pass this home and this land down and down and down and down. When you have people like Abraham Lincoln, everybody's favorite president, right? He was the friend to the black man. No, he wasn't, because he introduced the world to sharecropping. Sharecropping had my great-grandmother, not somebody I don't never heard of, my great-grandmother, my grandmother's grandmother, right? My grandmother's grandmother was working for 17 cents a year. 17 cents a year. So thank you, Abraham Lincoln, for freeing the slave. No. Thank you, Abraham Lincoln, for putting my family in a trick bag, but we still came out of it. See, I don't want to hear all this stuff about pulling up your bootstraps and procedure and stuff like that. I don't want to hear that nonsense, because it's not working for us. It's not working for us, because if everybody else has different opportunities, I don't want to hear about the opportunities that we should have, and we can pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and all that. I don't want to hear that nonsense, because that's foolishness. And that's why critical race theory is important. That's why we must start building our own libraries, because these academic institutions are not designed to educate us the proper way. Because if you wanted a person to be properly educated instead of trained, you would pay teachers properly. I found out this week, I found out last week and I didn't speak about it, but I found out recently there are some professors with PhDs at institutions who are living out of their cars to educate people. They're going out above and beyond. So why aren't teachers the highest paid? You know, it's funny how when you see these young athletes get these hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, people always say, well, you can fund a dance troupe for 10 years with what they pay LeBron James. Well, how many teachers could you pay with what they pay LeBron James? See, it's cool. See, that's how you know people are full of it. Because you're going to tell me what LeBron James should be making. I mean, what a dance troupe. But what about these teachers who are handling our young people 6-8 hours a day, or in these institutions of higher learning or higher training, as I'll talk about in just a second? Why ain't they being paid properly? See, you got people, these superstar professors like the Cornell West's and brother Dr. Michael Eric Dyson and other professors, and they'll hold those dudes up and they'll pay them a lot of money, like our sister who just went to Howard a couple of days ago. But Other PhDs at those same institutions are living hand to mouth. Or PhD, and this ain't a black thing. It's academic. Why? Why do you think these teachers in Chicago on strike every 5 minutes? Because they need to eat too. Don't tell me they're teaching the future. Oh yeah, we're gonna pay you a little bit above minimum wage, and then you got people fall for the foolishness, just like many other things, and say, hey, well, our kids are failing. First of all, you and the teachers work together just like my mom and the teachers work together. It's not their job to raise your kids. It's your job to inform your kids. Just like our sister Marva Collins, maybe we need to change the whole academic situation, because it's one thing to train, it's something else to educate. And I'm looking at this question I got. Can black people be racist asking for a friend? Black people can be, no. Because racism comes with power. Until we obtain equal power in this country, we can't be racist. Now, you can be a bigot. There's plenty of black bigots. Plenty of black bigots, but it ain't no racism. Racism is about power. It is a race to the top for power and influence. Now, if we even, then we can be racist. Until then, not at all. Tell your friend, no, can't do it. Now, black people can hate. It's a bunch of hating black people. Some of us even hate each other and ask me about that money. Now, like I was saying, man, it's a difference between education and training. And one of the most common instances that you use when you talk about racism versus training is an animal. You can train an elephant you can train a lion to walk around at the circus, and you can train animals to do anything they want. But that's training. Education should benefit the person that's learning. Training benefits the person who's doing the training, because he'll either get paid or entertained by the training. Sit, stay, get up, get down, attack. That's how you train the dog. But you educate a person by teaching them how to repair a car. And then I can either go work at the General Motors plant, or I can go work at the dealership, or I can open up my own situation, or I could be what we call in the neighborhoods an alley mechanic. So now I have the ability to feed myself no matter what method I use. So, education versus training. What we have to do, Marva Collins told us, teach your children how to critically think before you teach them mathematics, science, reading, history, and things of that nature. Because if you're a critical thinker, you look at what you're learning, you understand, you process, and then some people will go, well, wait a minute. Why did you treat the indigenous people to North America that way? It was over 300 million of them, and it's only like 35, 40 of them now. Right? Or, well, wait a minute. Why are you calling these Africans slaves, and why are we discriminating against them? See, that's the beauty in the young people. A lot of these young people don't get down with the racism, and hopefully that'll catch on like COVID, or worse, COVID-25. But people that are in my generation going back, like if you were born like 1970, going back, or 1975, going back, we broke it because we bought into supremacy from a culture. We bought into inferiority from a culture, and we bought into desegregation. Because, hey man, let's just be honest, man. This desegregation thing didn't work. It didn't work because you have people who are instructors at institutions of education, whether it be elementary, pre-K, high school, or higher education, that are looking at people that are outside of that culture as inferior. Or you probably snuck in the country if you're a Latino. Or you're lazy if you're black. Or whatever. Like Asians, they get the cool discrimination. You're smart. But every Asian isn't smart. Or every Asian isn't academically inclined in the matter in which you are looking for. They may be musicians. They may be artists. They may not be what you're assuming because you bought into the nonsense. And if you buy into the nonsense, if an Asian kid is a C student, but he's a musical genius or something of that nature, you're going to think poorly of him. If you get a brother from my community, like it was this dude, I'm not going to say his name, I used to sit next to him at an office, and one of the supervisors literally told him this, and I stopped speaking to him. I don't speak to him no more because he let this woman look at him because he was articulate as hell, and he had a nerd tone to his voice. You're not really a black guy. You're a white guy in disguise. I wish it would have been a dude, because I'd have hit him. I would have hit it. But see, these are the things that these preconceived notions that educators have as well. So when you see a kid struggling, he must be mentally incompetent. When you see a young person struggling, you don't say, oh, he learns in a different way. Some people learn by listening. They absorb it via osmosis, and they can regurgitate and help you solve anything you want. Some people learn by reading. Some people learn in any way. But what we have to do is restructure this educational process. Otherwise, you're going to have a bunch of trained people like we do, because higher education, it should be for advanced thinking. But when you get, most people go to college to get a better job. And now the ROI on education is not profitable. It's not anything. Because if I go in from a disenfranchised and underdeveloped community, underserved community, and I walk out with a $100,000 debt with a $50,000 job, I invested $100K to get $50,000 a year minus tax. I'm about $35,000 in my pocket, and I still owe this $100. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. So let's not get into this. Oh man, you got to go to college and this, that, and the third. We must revamp the situation. We're gonna revamp the situation. We will be in trouble. Period. We will be in trouble, and if you don't believe me, just let you know, man. We on our way to a bad situation. We are on our way to a bad situation because we don't believe what's going on. We don't identify the issues that are in front of us. We think critical race theory is an issue. But all you have to do is just this what goes right back to Marvel College. You think, teach a young person how to clearly think instead of just jumping in and jump out and saying whatever they want to say. They thinking, and then you will process this. Okay, I got these Trump supporters. I got these anti-everybody but the European community people hating critical race theory. Maybe I should look into it. And when I look into it, I realize critical race theory is just educating people on me and my struggles. So I'm going to be 10 fingers, 10 toes into that. And then when you get 10 fingers, 10 toes into that, you realize what you have to do to fight and combat things of that nature. But we don't. We sit around and we argue and we fuss and we fight and we point fingers at each other and we do a name calling. We do that silly dance that never gets things rectified. We never get rectified. So if you want to continue to have that dog chase his tail, or we're going to start thinking on our own, looking into things before we go 10 fingers, 10 toes and be diametrically opposed to something that could potentially benefit you. And critical race theory isn't going to be taught unless you have a master's level education. So why in the heck are you even worried about it in academic? But this is just like that lie, that trope, that farce that was told. What Donald Trump did more for black people than any other president. He signed a bill to extend funds to HBCU. No, he didn't. He didn't sign anything. He said he would, but he never did. In 4 years, he never did. He paraded our brothers and sisters from higher learning educations, higher learning institutions, HBCUs, throughout the White House, embarrassed them, put them on Front Street, and now they're clowns. Now they're clowns. They are, as my brother, as Dr. Greg Carr said, they're advertising themselves. They're a caricature of themselves. They're not even real anymore, and people lost a lot of faith in them. And that's just the way it's going. That's just the way it's going. And you can clearly see our entire community is being made fun of. If you don't believe me, all you have to do is look up Tom, his real name is John Bryant. He goes by Tommy Bryant. He was in the city council down in Alabama. He stood up and had the courage to call some sister a house nigga. And he didn't say N-word. And then later on, he said, no, I ain't ashamed of doing it. And then later, when he realized, then he tried to clean it up. I was just trying to show that you shouldn't use H-N nowhere. So now you use H-N. But you're brave enough to do it. But this is our fault again, people. I blame us. See, because I ain't going to blame it on rap music like everybody loves to do it. See, the rap music is the reason the black community is in the way it's in now. Nope. I'm not doing that because that's asinine. Because all these movies about serial killers, all these movies about anything in the world that are primarily starring white people, why ain't nobody blaming them? Is Godfather the reason for organized crime? No, nobody does that. So we're not going to wear that jacket anymore. We're not going to put it on our institutions. I mean, not going to put it on our art. Because what we're going to be able to do is teach our children that that's television, that's not real. And if it's not real, why are you allowing it to be dictating your community's behavior? How foolish does that sound? But we've gotten comfortable. Because I can remember times that you didn't say that word publicly. You didn't. And let's go to the rap music. Oh, well, they say that word in rap music all the time. But the last time I checked, it's a parental discretion sticker on that rap music. Which means people don't buy CDs anymore, right? So how are kids hearing it? On the radio. So who's in charge of the radio? Because there are very few independently owned radio stations throughout the United States of America. Viacom owns most of them. So if Viacom is allowing this, what you perceive as vulgar content to be put on the airwaves, what happens to people like that lady who tried to get married with children kicked off and almost got it kicked off by herself? Where are your complaints? When was the last time you emailed your community radio station and said, y'all need to cut out this vulgar communication out? If people want to hear Megan Thee Stallion, no disrespect to the young sister, if people want to hear Nicki Minaj and these other people, or what's the other girl, Cardi B, talk about WAP and ma this and do that and lick this and kiss that, there's nothing wrong with that. Because guess what? The pornography business is a multi-billion dollar industry. And nobody's trying to get rid of that. That's adult communication. I mean, that's the adult entertainment. So if they can do it with adult communication, we need to have some standards in regards to our radio networks, like we used to. For those who don't understand what I'm saying, Let's Go Crazy by Prince, 84? Let's Go Crazy. The original lyrics are, we're not going to let the devil break us down. Oh, no, let's go crazy for Jesus. The FCC said, no, you're not going to say that. And he said, you need change. So we can't let people, why we can't start complaining now? What happened to the FCC that you couldn't say, let's go crazy for Jesus, but now you can say, lick my wet. No. So as a community, we need to step up and police ourselves. If you see, I'm not causing for violence against anybody, but he needed a stern talking to. Because if you're comfortable enough to use that word in front of my folks, I shudder to wonder what you're capable of doing. And I'm not kidding. We need to not allow people to insult us publicly under no circumstances. I don't care what the platform is. The Omar got comfortable, this got comfortable. And you see every day people are getting more and more comfortable. People need to be addressed and addressed abruptly. And then these things will stop. See, this guy assumed he can get away with it. And he did. He did. He assumed it and won. But we must get to the point whereas people are not just comfortable insulting us. If you're comfortable insulting the people of my community, I'm going to have a problem with you. Period. I do. I'm going to have a problem with you. Because if you're comfortable enough to just say, hey, I'm going to do what I want to say, do what I want to do, and say what I want to say, we can't say that anywhere else in the world. You can't say that to the alphabet crew. You can't say that to the any other religious faith. You can't do it. But so people, we're going to have to step up and make sure people don't understand. And this is why at one point, you know what? It's not one point. I still don't like voting. But the people who I serve, the black community, you believe in it. So I had to change my message. What I did was I changed my message from a message of that was HRap centric to a black community centric message. And what that means is this: my folks believe in voting. So what we have to do is galvanize the community and move in one direction. We're not voting for D's and we're not voting for R's. We're voting for things that are beneficial to us. And seeing how that is the topic right now, I want to talk to you about this dude who's the president of the United States of America, Joseph Biden. He told on himself this week. And I saw very few news outlets even address this. Joe Biden was asked about filibustering, and he said he didn't want to stop it because it's a part of the process. The process is what keep our brothers and sisters incarcerated when the courts clearly see that they haven't committed the crime. That's the process. It's a process. And before I move forward, the process this is built for this network. I am HRap. This is Build and Destroy at the end of the bench. where we building up the community and destroy lines and propaganda about the community. If you are on YouTube, please hit that like button. If you are on Spreaker.com, please hit that like button. Please share on both, subscribe on both platforms, tell a friend and tune in. And as I was stating, he doesn't want to stop the filibuster because then he will destroy the process and create chaos, according to Mr. Biden, President Biden. I told you guys 365 days ago on Big Illinois show called The Backyard. We need to vote for Joe Biden, and the day after he's elected, start looking for his replacement. Joe Biden is problematic to the black community. He always has been. See, a lot of people like to go to the 1996 crime bill, 1994 crime bill. That's not where I'm going, though. The 1994 crime bill was horrific, but let's not forget that there were literally millions of people in our community asking for the 1994 crime bill, and it was horrific, and we still suffer the consequences to this day. Whereas you got people now selling marijuana, creating their life savings, and in the 90s, you sell marijuana, you got a life sentence. But Mr. Biden, it's the reason you have people like Clarence Thomas, because he didn't respect our sister Anita Hill enough to have a guy like Clarence Thomas put his genital hair on her nice frosty beverage. You can put your genital hair on a black woman's beverage and still become a member of the Supreme Court. Joseph Biden was in charge of things like what's the boy name? Mitt Romney? Not Mitt Romney. The dude that looked like a turtle. Whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Not McCain. Whatever his name is. Can't think his name. It ain't important at this point. Mitch McConnell. Just much like Mitch McConnell does today. He dictates who's going to go on the Supreme Court. Your man President Biden was doing that then. Not now. Where he is truly problematic is he said he called a guy who is a blatant and open racist with a black daughter. A blatant and open racist with a black daughter. Strom Thurmond. He was super, super, super conservative. No, he was uber bigoted. This dude was one of the greatest racists ever to sit in the House of Representatives in the Congress within the last 55 years. One of the biggest and most blatant racists. And guess what? Your man Joseph Biden came up under him. As I stated, we need to get rid of this dude. We need to be looking for a replacement for Joseph Biden and Kamala Harris tonight. Otherwise, we will suffer the consequences. He is not doing anything for our community. He will not do anything for our community. And even if we just get somebody who poses a great threat to him and forces his hand to do some things, that's what we need to do. Period. He's not beneficial to us. He's not going to do anything for us, and he can't work. We got the boogeyman out of the office. He ran. He's scared. He did this and he did that. Guess what? He's gone. Now it's time to get rid of Joe and Kamala. Period. They're not doing anything for us. And we need to be looking for somebody who's going to step up and do the job. Because it's easy to stand around and make predictions. We're going to lose the midterms. We need not. How are we more than we're about 16 months away from the midterms and you're already talking about losing it? We're the first year into this dude's presidency and he's done nothing for us. Well, he's done a few things, but he's not done enough. It's the old Malcolm X comment. It's a 9-inch knife in your back. He pulls it out 6 inches. You still got 3 inches of the knife in your back. So we're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. We need to replace him. I told y'all this. Big Illinois can confirm it. And anybody on the Backyard Podcast or listen to the Big Backyard Podcast a year ago on the very Built for This network, y'all heard me say it. And it's time to enact that. Because anytime you can speak about an open bigot and you don't speak negatively about that, he is speaking negatively about you. I'm not rolling with him. If you roll with him, God bless you. Because you're done. You're done. Because he is not rolling with us. He is not rolling with us. It's time to replace him. So if we're going to do this little game about the voting and trusting in this and trusting in that, it's time to get rid of this dude. He is not going to help us. And he's doing a detriment to us. He is doing a detriment to us. He is not beneficial to us. What I want to do right now, y'all know about halfway is the halfway point of the show. Thank you for tuning in to Built for This Network. My name is HRap. This is the End of the Bench podcast, Build and Destroy, where I attempt to build up the community and destroy lies and propaganda about my community. Now, what I'm going to do is this time for this moment in history. What I like to do is educate my people about how great we are. When you see how great we are, we move into an upward trajectory, and when we're in an upward trajectory, we are unstoppable. We are unstoppable, and we will always be unstoppable. I'll be back shortly. Please stay tuned. Holla at your boy.
Wings to Fly is a children's book about gaining confidence and working to succeed. Told from the perspective of a young girl who loves to play basketball. She is often left out by her teammates until she meets her guardian angel who teaches her that success takes perseverance. Wings to Fly is a great read for all children. I would highly recommend this book. If you would like to make a purchase, please click on the link in my description box below. At 23 years old, he became not only the youngest person to fly around the world, but the first black person to fly around the world solo in a plane that he built himself, no need funds. He went to Miami Northwestern High School, which was one of the best football schools in the country at the time. And his whole plan was to play ball. After school, he buried to work in his transport shop. And one day he bumped into an airline pilot and just started asking all sorts of questions like, what's it like to fly a plane? How many planes have you flown? How many countries have you been to? How high can you fly? How do planes work? And from that moment, he was hooked. All he could think about was aviation and flying. But he was a poor black kid, so what was he going to do? He gave up a full ride to the University of Florida just so he could study his dream language. He ended up going to Broward Community College and graduated with honors from Florida Memorial University. And the whole time he was in college, he was doing two things. One, his solo flight around the world that he wanted to take. And more importantly, his nonprofit that he wanted to start, Experience Aviation. And this was more important to him because the main point of Experience Aviation was dedicated to empowering young black and brown kids and teaching them about aviation. That was more important than his solo trip around the world. So the moment he graduated, he had everything in order. He had his sponsors ready, he had enough money for the trip. And on March 23rd, 2007, he left Miami, Florida, and started a solo trip around the world that took 96 days. 96 days, 27 cities, 13 countries, 4 continents, about 30,000 miles, and he made it back on June 27, 2007, with a brand new world record. The youngest person to ever do it, and the first black person to ever attempt it. So today, June 27, we salute you. Thank you.
Welcome back. This is your man HRap coming at you live and direct from the Rap Cave Studios. This is the End of the Bench podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Now, most of us didn't even know that this is happening right up under our nose, and the greatness is happening up under our nose, and that's why you have to tune in to programs like this and others. Of course, I want you to tune in to my program, but there are other programs out there equally engaging, equally educational, and they're equally beneficial. The reason I showed that is because we're in a situation to whereas if you don't dream, you can't achieve. You don't achieve, you're stuck in the situation that you're in. What I find my community doing a lot is asking for athletes to give back, asking for athletes to help with opening up businesses, and we're gonna open up this and we're gonna open up that, and we need help doing this and help doing that. How about this, y'all? How about this, y'all? Why don't we start asking these people to open up banks? So you got the brother Killer Mike down there in Atlanta. He opened up one of the first. I think it's in August. It's called Greenwood, a digital bank. It's an online bank nationwide. First One United is the largest privately owned black bank in the United States of America. We need to start opening up hospitals again. We don't need any more entertainment. We don't need any more movies. We don't need any more TV. We don't need any of it. We need just somebody to open up some banks. We need somebody to open up a hospital. We need to open up our own schools. The reason we need these things is because when you do this, you'll have people that look like you and them, or people who actually care. See, when you have your own curriculum, you give governmental funds, and you can educate your community where you want to. Let's stop asking for basketball rims and things of that nature. No, we don't need Nike to donate to open up another basketball court. Open up another library. Open up another historical society. Open up another program so we can enhance our lives. That's what we need to talk to these politicians about. Because when you have people combating the advancement of your community, you find yourself in what we call a trick bag. And yeah, a lot of people may be upset when I use terminology like trick bag, but so what? Get your own podcast, get your own network, and you can use any vernacular that you choose. That's just the way it is in the HRap universe. But what you want to do is put some of these athletes' feet to the fire. You want to encourage Jalen Rose, more Jalen Rose, more LeBron James. Yeah, because, bro, y'all don't give Jalen Rose enough credit. Jalen Rose was the first former NBA athlete to do this. He was the first former NBA star to open up an institution of education. He opened up a school in his hometown of Detroit. Am I diminishing my brother LeBron James? No, I'm not, but I am. See, that's something else. In order to give someone credit for what they're doing, we don't diminish anyone. We diminish no one on the face of the earth by acknowledging more than him. We're going to get out of this combative state of, hey, if this person is good, this person can only be this good. No, we're not dealing in a pie chart. If LeBron James did something excellent, guess what? Somebody else will come along and do something excellent as well. Our young brother Russell Westbrook, he's about to do something excellent. He did something that's excellent with the History Channel documentary of the Tulsa, Oklahoma bombing, the terrorist attack on Tulsa, Oklahoma. So what we need to do is start doing community building exercises versus entertainment. We've been entertained. We are entertaining. We are the cool thing. So stop being distracted by the madness. We have no time to argue and quibble about nonsense and foolishness. Speaking of nonsense and foolishness, this is what I really want to talk to you about today. Shout out to our young brother Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Nigerian Nightmare 2K. That's why I call him, because he's not Greek. He's from Nigeria. And for those, here's a little tidbit about our young brother Giannis Antetokounmpo. Antetokounmpo translates in his home language. First, he's an Hebrew. Same tribe as our brother Akeem Olajuwon. And his name translates to, wonderfully, the crown has come home. How ironic is it? Another Nigerian brother in the same tribe as our brother Akeem Olajuwon brings the title home, and his name translates to bringing the crown home. We need to start focusing on bringing the crown home and stop falling subject to this bickering and pocket loading of the dominant society, man. Why are we engaging in foolish conversations about who's the greatest and who's not? Is anybody ever challenged Babe Ruth as the greatest? When you talk about Joe DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle, do people argue about that? Who's the second best guy behind Larry Bird in the dominant society? You ever see people argue about is Bird? You ever see anybody diminish John Havlicek, Rick Barry, Bob Cousy, Rick Schmitz, Dave Cowens. No. So why are we bickering on TV and embarrassing ourselves and calling each other names and looking like damn fools, and then they go right on television and do it? One of my favorite television personalities, he goes by the name of one Jalen Rose. Jalen Rose embarrassed the hell out of our young brother, Kendrick Perkins, yesterday. He was doing it in fun, but he destroyed him. And Kendrick Perkins didn't like it because usually Perk will laugh and joke and go back and forth. But Perk took it personally to the point where Jalen Rose went on Instagram and apologized. But see, this is what we have to get away from. We must get away from destroying each other, diminishing each other, and making each other look like damn fools publicly. See, if you want respect, how can you ask somebody for respect if you're not willing to give it to your friends, family, brothers, and sisters? Just it. What is this quest to be the first? Why must your name be yelled? I mean, I understand somewhat that we've been shut out, disrespected, unheard, and ignored for decades, centuries. So we feel this need to step out and be seen and make sure I'm acknowledged. But it goes back, I can't continue to say this every week, it goes back to the governance structure and the social structure. The social structure says, how do people see you? The governance structure is, how do you see yourself? That's the most important. I don't think Jalen Rose went into that thing. Jalen Rose was playing, like we call it, a dozen, snapping, the Jones. He was joning. He was having fun. But at the end of the day, it was at that brother's expense. And we must stop doing that. Because, yeah, it was funny to Jalen Rose. It was funny to Mike Greenberg. But you could clearly see our brother Big Perk was uncomfortable because he didn't want to go in on Jalen. And Jalen apologized appropriately. But why would you do it? See, we've gotten too comfortable in front of the world. See, at one point, I can remember a time when everybody was guessing about our community. I can remember times in my lifetime. I ain't talking about no 60s and 50s and 40s. I can remember walking downtown with one of my co-workers. I had a summer, I wasn't even an adult yet. I had a summer job with my mother for the Department of Child Support. I'm walking down the street with this white guy. And like four brothers walked past, and I nodded. All of us nodded. Didn't know them. White guy said, hey, you know him? And I lied and said, yeah. And kept going because we kept everything inside of our community. And this is why people like John Tommy Bryan, this is why Bill Maher, and this is why other people are comfortable disrespecting us. Because if you want respect, you damn sure can't disrespect one of your brothers and sisters. You damn sure can't get on TV and say anything derogatory about one of your brothers and sisters because it does you no good. It does you no good. None at all. It doesn't help you. It is only a deterrent to your happiness. And I understand that you want to be the top dog. And I understand people want to stand out. But it's not appropriate behavior. And when you want to stand out, you stand out like our sister Maria Taylor. Shout out to Maria Taylor for doing what was best for her. See, again, I'm in the sports world right now because the sports world has really annoyed me this week. Because I've seen my brothers and sisters disrespect each other. I've seen people actually come out and say Maria Taylor's crazy for wanting all this money. But if you flashed $1 million in front of their face, they'd take it too. Look, Maria Taylor says she wants to be paid like Stephen A. Smith. One thing, yes, I was going to get to that, Brother Steve. One thing that I don't understand is this. In the sports world, foreign disenfranchised people from all cultures, and I ain't just talking about my people, but I'm talking about my people in this instance. Foreign disenfranchised people will look at one of their own people who's making it, who's exceeding all expectations, and they'll say she or he should have accepted that. he or she should sacrifice a little more. When these people have sacrificed greater than you will ever think, they've missed family outings because they in Japan right now. They in Japan covering the Olympics. They in Europe covering the World Championships. They somewhere covering the World Cup. They're all over the country. They covering the Thanksgiving game, and they're not with their families. That's a hell of a sacrifice. Because guess what? This is something I hear in our community all the time. Oh, it ain't like it was when Grandma and them was here and Big Mama and them was here. Hey, if you were born between the years of 1975 and this very moment, you know what, 1980 in this very moment, 1980 going backward, your ass is Big Mama and them because you're 40. You're 40 years old. You're part of the upper class of the damn family. So stop looking for other people to do things that you're not going to do. The sacrifices these people make on TV, they go beyond your scope. These athletes, oh man, he playing with a hurt ankle back in the day. Well, you know what? He was stupid back in the day. Because guess what? I played for free back in the day, and my back and my knees hurt now. My man Steve, we working now. He, oh damn, you got cut on your knee. Yeah, I got cut on my knee. So when we're diminishing someone's character or ability, understand that these team doctors are not employed to help the player. They're employed to help entertain you. When these people, like our sister Maria Taylor, wouldn't take the low money, and Fox and Amazon and these other outlets and NBC are willing to pay her more, that's where she needs to be. LeBron James isn't wrong because he looked around and saw how they treated KD, saw how they treated Oscar Robertson, saw how they treated Moses Malone, saw how later in his career they talked about trading Dr. J, saw how they did Dominique Wilkins, and we can go through a myriad of other players, the KG and everybody else, Carmelo Anthony, and never put a quality coach or some bunch of quality players around him. He said, I'm out, and did what was best for him. He's not a punk for that. Oh man, he didn't do it the right way. Yes, he did. Because he is at work. He just happens to be working on television. So why are we diminishing people who you don't know what that body feels like? You haven't had a 300-pound man fall on your body. You haven't run up and down a court and experienced the pain that a lot of these young athletes have. But we disrespect them, man. But guess what? You don't disrespect nobody else. You just disrespect your brother. I appreciated how Jalen defended Maria Taylor. Lots of folks were mad at Perk for his comments about Rachel Nichols and put him in a bad spot. Yes, I respect. I'm a big Jalen Rose fan. And RC, if nobody else, whoever is attending my show, who put up the comment that I just read, RC know why I like him. He's a left-hand guy. That's what attracted me to him when he was with the Fab Fight. He's the point guard, and he's a lefty. But we must stop giving people fodder for this. You got this dumbass that sits across the street, across the table from my brother Shannon. I'm not saying his name. You know who the clown is. He dissing Giannis now. And then you got people falling in line with that nonsense. I told y'all I told you Tuesday, it's time for us to put a hedge around our folks like God, man. If God is real and God lives inside of us, we can put a hedge around our brothers and protect them for their foolishness. We must. We can no longer destroy the Maria Taylors of the world. We can no longer destroy the LeBron James of the world. We can no longer destroy any of these people for the entertainment of somebody else. Because guess what? What would the Olympics look like without your brothers and sisters there? What would the NBA Finals look like without your brothers and sisters there? So how can we diss our brothers and sisters? Maria Taylor is look, you know why Maria Taylor says she needs as much money as Stephen A. Smith? Because she's more knowledgeable than Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is flashy, loud. You know what Stephen A. Smith is? Like they always say, if this was a person, Stephen A. Smith, if the dude who showed up at the basketball court in the Jordan outfit and the Air Jordan shoes and the Air Jordan socks was a person. He looks the role. He sounds the role. But I guarantee you he wouldn't debate Maria Taylor, who does NCAA football, NCAA basketball. She does NBA. She does NFL. She's well versed in everything, and she on her way to Japan. If she take that NBC job like she said she's gonna do, she gonna do the Olympics. So why don't she deserve $8 million a year? If dude do is talk, why don't she deserve $8 million a year? And you got people dissing. Rachel Nichols is this. And look, when was the last time you heard this? Man, the NBA Finals ain't gonna be right without Rachel Nichols. Said by nobody. Because you know what? If Mar Jackson is sitting there and him and Money Gundy up there cracking jokes, the finals gonna be the same. So Rachel Nichols ain't on nothing. See, what it is what they do is prop these people up in front of you, and you go, they're good at their jobs, but they're not. They're basic. Can she do what Maria does? Hell no, she can't. And no disrespect to Rachel. She probably doing a hell of a job. I don't watch ESPN anymore, so she might be super dope. But I know Maria's super dope too. Because anytime you can do NCAA football or basketball, anytime you can do NFL football or NBA basketball, and you can sit in the office, you can sit at the tables and hold your own, you worth $8 million last time I checked. Period. And then, this leads me to something else. Speaking about this Smith dude. Him and my man, I actually like this dude. I'm finna kick. See, I'm gonna let y'all know this. I try not to kick dudes in the behind personally, because then I'm destroying a brother. But Emmanuel Acho, my man Emmanuel Acho, because I like him and he's philanthropic. He does work in the community. Him, and he's Nigerian. Him and Stephen A. Smith, like that sister Shabazz back in the 80s, who wrote that book, You Need an Open Hand Smack in the Mouth. Him and Stephen A. Smith need an open hand slap in the mouth, y'all. I'm not kidding either. These dudes are standing up. First they talk, Stephen A. Smith steps up and says, soccer can't be the face of Major League Baseball. Then they start talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo can't be the face of the NBA because we don't know his story. What in the hell is wrong with y'all? I'm not into dudes, but I hear women say Giannis Antetokounmpo is a nice looking brother. He built like a tank, and he just won a championship. Why can't he be the face? But when you can't like, he's different. Well, y'all was kicking Kobe in his behind 20 years ago. Y'all was kicking Kobe directly in his behind 20 years ago because he was well educated, well read, could speak several different languages, and he wasn't from the hood. Who's the face of the NBA for the face of the NBA at least 5 of the last 10 years? Kobe Bryant. See, we cannot allow somebody else to determine what we're gonna rock with. If you stupid enough not to rock with him, you can't be the face of the league if you don't hit free throws. You a lie, because Shaq was the face of the league, and he can't hit a free throw. Shaq couldn't hit a free throw if it was punching him in his face. But y'all love Shaq. How is it Emmanuel Acho is going to say this dude, we can't say his name? We say your name, Emmanuel. We can learn how to say any name we want to, man. But y'all on TV diminishing the accomplishments of a black man as black men, and then y'all want us to support you. Well, you know what? I can't say Acho no more, man. It's ridiculous, man. Giannis Antetokounmpo, since everybody, I'm going to go against the HRap code. Let's go to the stats. Giannis Antetokounmpo got better stats after his first 7 years than Hakeem Olajuwon. He got more accomplished in his first 7 years than Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Kobe Bryant. So why can't he be the man? Because y'all tell me the rings is the most important thing. He got 2 MVP. I think he got most improved player. He got most improved player, MVP back to back, defensive player of the year, finals MVP, and a championship. And he can't be the face of the league because he don't fit in what y'all perceive as comfortable for the dominant society? Are y'all outside of y'all minds? Man, Emmanuel Alcho and Stephen A. Smith, y'all are disgraceful. Y'all some disgraceful brothers. This brother can't be the face of the league because he's from another country. But guess what? Y'all was just telling me how great Dirk Nowitzki was. Y'all just got through telling me that Luka Doncic is the next dude in the league. What, is Luka Doncic from Brooklyn or somewhere, Cleveland? Or is he from across the ocean? Just like our brother Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's crazy, man. Do everything to diminish somebody from our community, but you won't respect. I don't understand. But with that being said, the National Football League is the next biggest insult in the history of the world. You know what amazes me about this National Football League thing, man? The National Football League is making it so if you and your team can't recover from a COVID and get rescheduled, y'all forfeit the game. Guess what else you forfeit when you forfeit the game? A paycheck. Now, everybody, oh man, these dudes make millions of dollars. Everybody in the NFL is not a millionaire, sir, madam. And stay out of other people's pockets. Again, until you are prepared to let Reggie White, Lawrence Taylor, J.J. Watt, Deion Sanders, and a host of other these dudes fall on you repeatedly, don't tell me about what somebody is getting paid. I would do that for free. I wouldn't. That lets me know you've never played on a team. If you say you would play a professional sport for free, either you're stupid or you've never been on a team. Because again, you sacrificing time, you sacrificing health, you're sacrificing peace of mind, some kinds of things that you sacrifice when people talk about what people should and should not do with their bodies. And I thought y'all told me that the NFL gave a damn about the people, but you want them to just step around COVID. No. I'm not trying to hear it. I'm not trying to hear it. The NFL is full of trash. And then they come out with this new campaign. The NFL is gay. The NFL is this. The NFL is that. The NFL is everything. If the NFL was everything, Colin Kaepernick could be on somebody's team. See? Again, man. Again. My community continues to wholeheartedly support the NFL, and you have the right to do whatever you want to do with your free time. That's your free time. I'm not your father, mother, uncle, cousin, or none of that. I'm not the boss of you. But last time I checked, the NFL is one of the most racist organizations in the history of the league. And history of the United States. Oh man, they got to fight. You had to create a rule to hire black coaches. You don't have a lot of black coaches in the pipeline. You skip over black coaches annually. If a black coach has a good season not winning a Super Bowl, he should be fired. Jason Garrett has a mediocre career and he gets another job almost immediately. How many black general managers in the National Football League? How many black team presidents in the National Football League? Huh? Not many. But we wholeheartedly support them. And then you let jackasses like our brother on ESPN, I'm not going to kick him no more. You let this guy tell you that the NBA needs to straighten out their act. The NBA been at the forefront of this hiring brothers thing since the 60s. Bill Russell, Wayne Embry. 1972, I think the Bucks, they had a black GM when Kareem was there. But Bernie Bickerstaff in the 70s. You got brothers, for those who don't know, the Phoenix Suns got a black president, James Jones. Joe Dumas is working. Oh, those dudes just got hired. Dude, stop letting the TV distract you from what's really going on. The NFL ain't hiring no brothers. The NBA got a gang of brothers. And they consistently have a gang of brothers. And people don't support the NBA like they should. And I'm not saying support none of it because I've actually fallen out of love with sports, period. But I'm just saying, man, black ownership. Shaq is has a nice chunk of the Sacramento Kings. Michael Jordan is the majority owner of the Hornets. Ain't no NFL teams like that. Yeah, Serena and Venus own a small piece of the Miami Dolphins. Really? 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 A team that just so happened to have a GM, president, and head coach black. But let the Miami Dolphins win 8 games this year, and they're going to be talking about getting rid of our brother down there to Flores. But I'm just saying, man, football, arguably the most racist sport in America. Because nobody really pay attention to basketball. If you're in the forefront and you're not doing right, you're the most racist, period. Baseball ain't got nobody black, and we know that, and it ain't nothing to even talk about. But football got us all engaged. The biggest event in sports all year, the Super Bowl. Ain't be no black general managers. I don't see hardly no black head coaches. The Rooney Rule, which is a joke. If you got to make a rule to hire me, I don't even want to work for you. But NFL is continue to be a joke. ESPN up with it too. So, you know. With that being said, man, I want to talk about 2 more things. And one of the things I want to talk about is our brother Van Jones. One thing you know, one thing for sure, 2 things for certain. If white people are comfortable with you, white, powerful white men in America, people in the dominant society in America are comfortable with you and you are black, it's a very good chance that you are not going to do anything with it. Our brother Van Jones, who has straddled the fence every chance he can. My man should have, I think Van Jones was working at Ringling Brothers before he was working at CNN. Because that dude walks a tightrope like no other. Or maybe he at the Soul Circus, but now he's probably at Ringling Brothers. Van Jones just got $100 million from Jeff Bezos. Van Jones, the reason we bringing this up is our sister Karen Hunter pointed this out to me and others who support us. Salute to Karen Hunter, as always, the Queen Mother Talk Radio. Van Jones was rocking with the late great ancestor Prince Rogers Nelson, that Prince. And he was supposed to be part of a situation to get hundreds of thousands of young black men in STEM and technology. He literally got less than 100. He's supposed to get at least 10,000 to 100,000. He got less than 100. 100, not 1,000. He got less than 100. Van Jones is supposed to be in the clean energy situation with Obama. He quit that job. So what is Van Jones going to do with this $100 million that's going to enhance our community? What is he going to do? We need to be putting some pressure on him because he's doing a whole lot for nothing but Van Jones. Anytime you can sit on the president, sit up there and talk about Donald Trump as being presidential, I can't trust you with nothing, man. You know how little I trust our brother Van Jones? I don't even know if his name is Van. His name might be Truck or something. I don't know. I'm being silly, but it is what it is. And before I close out, I want to bring up one topic. Paying the pandemic. Paying the pandemic. A lot of people kick this dude, Jeff Bezos, and his behind for how he pays his employees. One thing about Jeff Bezos is this. I'm not a fan of Jeff Bezos. I don't know him. I don't hate him. I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. But guess what? Most companies in the state of Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, some rural Georgia, Louisiana, they paying their people minimum wage, i.e. Chick-fil-A, i.e. Walmart, i.e. McDonald's, Burger King, so forth and so on. These fast food chains who have made billions upon billions of dollars every year for your whole life. Remember at one point McDonald's used to brag about how many people they tricked into buying that cat meat facetiously. They pay their people minimum wage. You know what minimum wage is? If I could pay you less, I would. $7 and some change is what they pay their people. Jeff Bezos pays his people $15 an hour. $15 ain't a whole lot better than $7, but it's way better if you make $7 an hour, somebody else make $15. It's way better. So instead of jumping down Jeff Bezos' throat, let's jump down everybody else's throat until they catch up with Jeff Bezos, and then we can kick them all in the behind. Because there's no way in hell as much money as McDonald's, Burger King, Pepsi, Coke, and all these people, because they are like when you go to KFC, they in bed with Pepsi, Coke, Pepsi, Taco Bell, and all that. When these people are paying people under what Jeff Bezos is paying, let's not kick Jeff Bezos in the behind just yet. Let's make everybody else lift that. Make Jeff Bezos the tide that lift all boats. If we're going to complain about Jeff Bezos and his pay, anybody under Jeff Bezos needs to be excoriated. How are people surviving on $7 an hour? You at Walmart make $7 an hour and getting food stamps or EBT. I'm old school. It's called food stamps when I was coming up, but it's EBT now. How are you working and still eligible for that? You shouldn't be. The overhead in Walmart, and then I heard somebody say, well, Walmart, they're losing money because of the pandemic and da-da-da-da-da. So what? Because guess what? Walmart put 1 million corner stores out of business because they were able to undercut them. And there's a whole bunch of people who used to own things that had to go back and had to go get jobs. So if they losing their grip on the market, sucks to be them. Sucks to be them. I need y'all to look into LinkedIn. My man True McCaskill put me on game. LinkedIn, Indeed, and other entities that help you find jobs because, hey, there were over 8 million jobs last year. Only 4 million people applied. You know how when you're buying a home, they say it's a buyer's market, that people, the market is the bottom is falling out. You can get a house for cheaper than you used to. Now, you can get a job. Like you can go from being a waitress to being a customer service rep. Because according to the people, if you're a waitress, you got 75-80% of the skills to be a customer service rep because you deal with people directly every day. So why not make $55,000 instead of walking around that restaurant? I'm revamping my show, and I'm going to start, as I stated to y'all Tuesday, I'm bringing on health and wellness experts. Well, not experts, health and wellness advisors, entrepreneurs. Tuesday, I got a dope entrepreneur, Sister Tamika. Wow, awesome sister. We're going to build up this community one day at a time, man. And I want y'all to keep this in mind. Like I said earlier in the show, stay on your local officials' head. Stay on your local officials' head because we got a lot of brothers and sisters and Latino brothers and sisters incarcerated for selling marijuana. And you got people making life savings on marijuana right now. So if you go from incarcerated to life savings, and then our brothers and sisters still locked up for that, we need to get that fixed. We're going to do a few things. We're going to start some voting campaigns. We're going to come up with a game plan for each and every one of our communities. And we're going to do what we can do to make sure we are in a better place. We got a 10-year plan so that by the next time the census comes out, we're going to be able to get proper funding for our schools. We're going to have proper representation of our community. And we're going to have a bunch of entrepreneurs. That's the goal. Every week, every Tuesday from 5 to whenever I get off, and every Saturday from 5 to whenever I get off. That's what we're going to do. It don't take a bunch of us. It just takes a few of us to galvanize and move in the same direction. With that being said, I want to send a homage to the people who give me mad inspiration. The Ghetto Boys Podcast, Willie D and Scarface, Tariq Nasheed, Nori from the Drink Champs, and DJ EFN, Talib Kweli from the People's Party, Ray Grady, Alpha Male, Zoe Williams, the Zoe Morning Show, Corey Hopeless, 5150, Craig Smith, Craig Facts, the Reverend Al Sharpton, Sister Heather B with all her spiritual uplifting, my brother Clay Kane, my sister Laurie Favors, my elder Joe Madison, my man Baba Dr. Greg Carr, leader of Africana Studies at Howard University, and the Queen Mother Karen Hunter. And anybody else, well, if I left your name, not charge to my name, charge to my head, don't charge to my heart. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Tell a friend and tune in. One more time before I go, I need you to hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. I need you to go right next to that subscribe button. And then what I want you to do, it is a button that says Right next to the subscribe, it's a bell. Hit all. Hit that bell. Hit all, so you get notifications anytime I come on. I'm not gonna only do on Tuesdays and Saturdays, because sometimes my guests are not gonna be able to come on Tuesdays and Saturdays. So if I get something, that, hey, I can come on now. We're gonna do it now. We're gonna come on and we're gonna get it on. But with that being said, I really want to let y'all know, just like my man, salute to my man Reggie O'Shea, aka Combat Jack. He used to end his shows. I call him the Pod Father. I mean, he always ended his shows with dream those dreams and man up and woman up and live those dreams. Because life without dreams flows in black and white. Life with dreams flows in technicolor surround. So I want to thank each and every one of you people for tuning in, man. It's hot as hell in July. Well, it is hell in July here in Chicago. It's hot. And I want to tell y'all that I appreciate y'all taking time out y'all day, hitting that like button, sharing if it's possible, and saying, hey man, I'm gonna listen to what HRap got to say today. I hope I'm always entertaining. I think I am. And with that being said, I want to let y'all know, hey man, 2 fingers, 1 word, it's your man HRap, and I'm out.
We are built for this network, for the strong, not the weak.